All right, Sooner Nation, what's going on? I'm recording this on a Sunday night. Well, I guess it would be Monday morning because it's 12:20 a.m. after Oklahoma baseball just beat UConn, and they're going to Monday trying to wrap up a regional, get to Tallahassee, and play FSU. But I want to talk today about some interesting comments made by Josh Pate, specifically around the Red River Rivalry. You heard what I said. If you don't agree with it, you got to jump in the comments below and tell me what you call it. But I want to talk about some comments that he made around the time change to 2:30 from 11 o'clock, because I think a lot of Oklahoma fans, they got the answer that they wanted. But some experts across college football, I don't think they like the change that much. So jump in the comments below and give me your guys' thoughts on what you guys think. But let's go ahead and let's roll the tape of Josh Pate.
There was some bad. Okay, so the good is the SEC announced scheduling. They're going to announce a ton more games June 11th. I think that's right, Jesse. The first 3 weeks are already set. Good job to the SEC. Hats off. Credit where it's due. You guys had to ruin the Red River Shootout for me, didn't you? I have an affinity, borderline love affair with the Red River Rivalry. Excuse me, shootout. I didn't mean to drop profanity on the show. This is the Red River Shootout. And whatever your focus groups told you to call it instead, because 14 people may get their feelings hurt, I don't care. It's the Red River Shootout on this show. And it should kick off at 11 a.m. Central Time. But it will not this year. It will kick off at 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central on ABC. So a lot of people got their way on this. I don't know if I'm in the minority, but it is super split because a lot of fans, a lot of OU and Texas fans actually want it to be at 3:30 so they can, probably just have more time to drive to the game, I'd imagine. What other reason would you want 3 additional hours in the morning and early afternoon for? So selfishly, and I'll admit, selfishly, I have always loved this game being at 11 a.m. I have been 2 of the last 3 years. It has been very memorable. I have been taking shots left and right trying to defend the sanctity and integrity of this game against folks in the SEC who claim it takes a backseat to the Iron Bowl, and folks in the Big Ten takes a backseat to Ohio State, Michigan. Well, it doesn't, though, guys. I've been on the field in all of those instances at all of these games recently. Therefore, of course, I'm an authority on this, and it doesn't take a back seat. A lot of you are talking trash about a game you've never been to. And if you go to it this year, the only difference is it'll be at 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central. I'm not a fan. And here's the worst part. Here's salt in the open wound. You used to say salt in the womb. Bad malapropism. But salt in the womb, salt in the wound, whatever. I wanted LSU South Carolina to be a night game. I kind of had my eye on that one of, might LSU get the nighttime Williams-Brice treatment? Might we hear Sandstorm as the sun sets there in the Palmetto State noon kickoff? So all I ask, Greg Sankey and his group of schedulers down there in Birmingham, is loop me in on this stuff. I could be of great assistance. Now, my decisions won't be popular, so if you care about fan feedback, ignore everything I'm saying, but we could do better. I just think we could do a little bit better.
Now, whether or not you agree with Pate on if he could do better, I'm here to tell you that the change of OU Texas from 11 a.m. to 2:30 is a great change. And it's not because out of the past 20 years when this game has been at 2:30, Oklahoma has won this game 5 times out of the 6 times, which we'll dive into those here in a second. It provides a better fan experience, in my opinion. And if you guys think I'm wrong, y'all are going to have to let me know. But in my opinion, you don't have to get up at the ass crack of dawn, drive all the way to the state fair, find parking, get into the stadium, find your seats, and maybe get there before kickoff. Like now, and especially at home, like at home, I get an opportunity to get on my grill, smoke something, and have it ready to go by, like, let's say 5 p.m., 6. And we get to watch the evening slate of games, and we get to have some snacks before then. And like, I'm not trying to butt up and try to create this big old extravagant lunch anymore. Like in all honesty, the 11 a.m. experience for OU Texas, I didn't like it, and I don't think a lot of other fans liked it either. Plus, fans that like to drink alcohol, they're going to get to put a little bit more in their bodies before 2:30. They're going to be loosened up a little bit more. You're just going to have to make sure you drink a little bit more of the water so you don't get dehydrated at these games, because it gets hot in Texas. But looking at just the history of Oklahoma and Texas at 2:30, Oklahoma's won 5 of the last 6 meetings in the last 20 years. Like, they've gone Oklahoma's way, or 6 out of the last 7 meetings. I'm sorry. In 2001, Oklahoma won 14-3. In 2002, Oklahoma won 35-24. In 2003, Oklahoma shellacked Texas 65-13. In 2006, Texas won 28-10. In 2007, Oklahoma won 28-21. 2010, 28-20. In 2017, it was a 29-24 victory, and that's thanks over to Jay over at Unfair Sports. He posted that on Twitter this past weekend. So obviously, it benefits Oklahoma. Like, when they get to play this game a little bit later in the day, it feels like the preparation and not having to just get up in the morning, early in the morning, and have to show up to the stadium and try to get ready and get prepped. Like, this little bit of a later time slot helps them. Now, I don't think this game should go any time past 2:30 start. Like, I don't think there should be a 5 or a 6 or a 7 o'clock kick, because we have heard the concerns from people that, hey, if it's a later evening game, it's in a little bit of a rougher area, so maybe you've got to deal with that. But at the end of the day, it's like you got hundreds of people, hundreds of thousands of people at the state fair. I don't know, like, maybe with it being a little bit later in the day, like, it's a little bit easier to get. I don't know, but all I know is I think a 2:30 kick on ABC, this being the SEC's prime game, which I think this is going to end up on this specific weekend becoming the SEC's prime game every single year. I think it's going to have a little bit more meaning. And as you kind of heard Josh Pate talking about, like, the OU Texas rivalry is one of the best in college football. I mean, you've got Auburn, Alabama, and Georgia, Florida, or Ohio State, Michigan, like the game, which, I don't get me wrong, I think the game is it's right up there with Oklahoma and Texas. And I think every single year, one of those two games can flip-flop. But the hatred between Oklahoma and Texas fans, I mean, it's in every sport. It just ain't in football, guys. And then the split between the middle of the stadium, like, when you look at it and you see a sea of red or a sea of orange, and you're going down the field and you're kind of leaving the roar and you're coming to a silent end zone, right? Your end zone, or you're leaving the silent end zone and going into an end zone that's completely just loud and like chaotic. Like, that's the OU Texas rivalry. I mean, there is no other rivalry like this one. And I mean, yeah, Michigan, Ohio State some years is going to play with this one. Like, they're going to hang in there, but I just don't see it the same way affecting all sports. Like, I mean, shoot, you go watch basketball or baseball or softball. I mean, look at what softball has become between OU and Texas. Like, that is a brutal rivalry. So, looking at it, do not agree with Josh Pate. 2:30 time slot, I think, is a really good time slot for Oklahoma and Texas to be played. It's going to get a little bit more national attention potentially. And Oklahoma fans, we've just been suffering with the 11 o'clock kickoff times. And I don't think Josh Pate's going to understand that, because I felt like he's looking at it from a view of, well, I've been to OU Texas twice and I like it at this time slot. Well, Josh, you do understand that Oklahoma has had 11 a.m. kicks with all of their games, or the majority of their games, for a long time. And it's not something Oklahoma fans really want to see anymore, or they want to see a whole lot of. And moving this game just helps ease the pain a little bit. So, Sooner Nation, jump in the comments below. Give me your thoughts on whether or not you like the game being moved to 2:30. Additionally, do you call it the Red River Rivalry, the Red River Shootout, the Red River Showdown? Jump in the comments below and let me know. I'm interested to see what you guys call it. Hey, and if you guys have made it this far and you guys have not already, make sure you hit that like and hit that subscribe button.